The Matrix is an imperfect simulation that is constantly being updated. Its first versions were complete disasters, where millions of people managed to wake up, leading to heavy human losses. This is because a human waking up and seeing reality can become a big problem to the equilibrium that is being protected. So in order to keep the balance, the agents were created. Agents are programs designed to intervene in cases when a human becomes aware or suspicious about the true nature of the Matrix and the existence of a real world. In previous videos, we talked about how the agents have confronted other blue pills in the simulation, including a little girl that was taken away when she told her psychiatrist about her dreams of cables and wires and other things that suggested that the reality she was living in was fake. These agents can be labeled as cruel and very efficient, but they can sometimes show signs of emotions, which makes them even more interesting. So today, we're going to be looking at all the previous versions of the agents created by the architect and what the agents might be in Matrix 4.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Before we begin today's video, we would like to announce our first official giveaway for our subscribers. We will be raffling a copy of the Matrix Comics 20th Anniversary Edition, an anthology of all published Matrix comic book stories, some written by the Matrix creators themselves, the Wachowskis. All you have to do to win is be a subscriber to this channel, leave a like on this video, and leave a comment on who is your favorite Matrix character and why. The winner will be announced on August 29th, 2020. Thank you for the support and enjoy today's video. Morpheus basically describes the agents as these superpowered beings.
Every single man or woman who has stood their ground, everyone who has fought an agent has died. I've seen an agent punch through a concrete wall. Men have emptied entire clips at them and hit nothing but air.
These agents that Morpheus referred to are super fast and fearless, but these in particular are from the 6th version of the Matrix. So we need to go back to the past to learn more about the agents and where they came from, before talking about the legendary Agent Smith and his group. The first agents were discarded by the architect, even though at times they were more efficient than Agent Smith himself. Let's begin with Seraphim, the angel type of agents. Some say that these agents existed in the beta version of the Matrix and were very similar to the agents of the 6th version. These agents had wings, giving them a more majestic appearance, like angels. These agents were tasked with watching and protecting the Paradise version of the Matrix. They were powerful, but in the end deemed obsolete. Some of them became exiles in future versions of the simulation. It is speculated that the reason why these agents were rejected and deprecated was that since they were designed as human protectors, they were too soft and weren't able to keep the order, at least the type of order that the architect was expecting. Seraph, the Oracle's protector, is believed to be one of these first agents of the Matrix. This exiled agent has fighting abilities that are vastly superior to the ones shown in modern agents. We can see this when Seraph fights Neo and holds his own. Seraph has powers that is impossible for his younger brothers to match. He has even defeated Agent Smith in the past, which is really interesting to imagine. This encounter may have occurred during the early days of the 6th version of the Matrix. The curious thing is that even with all that power, Seraph is just a protector at heart and is not aggressive enough to be useful in the simulation. It seems that efficiency in the Matrix is more about offense than defense. It takes a less benevolent mind, even if it's weaker in terms of raw power. All this talk about aggression reminds me of the Nightmare Matrix. Since the utopic version of the Matrix failed, the architect decided to do a complete reversal and thus created the opposite version, a living hell. It was a simulation filled with all horrific creatures that the human imagination could come up with, including vampires, zombies, and werewolves. Try to imagine a whole movie based on that one. Now then, further iterations of the Matrix brought 2 more versions of the agents. Like the Seraphim in the Paradise simulation, the nightmarish version had the Ghost Exiles, the twins. These were experts in hand-to-hand combat and had the ability to shapeshift into non-corporeal forms, hence the name Ghosts. In their ghastly forms, they could go through walls and even go through people while also avoiding physical damage. Their weapon of choice were knives or razors, and they were very good at using them. Both Seraphim and the agents could defeat the 6th version of the agents. This proves that the architect not only took into account how good an agent can fight, but also had considerations for other aspects of these bringers of order. Now talking about other specific agents, we have Kane and Abel. They were werewolf programs that worked for the Merovingian. They were exiles from the Nightmare Matrix, and nobody knows exactly what role they played. Persephone at one point stated that they caused more problems than they solved, and that could be telling us that they were beta versions of the newer agents, although this was never cleared up or explained. Finally, we can talk about the modern agents. These agents are apparently the strongest ones that have ever existed in the Matrix. Though this is kinda confusing, since Seraph managed to defeat Agent Smith, and that puts doubt in the criteria that the architect uses to create these beings, making it a nice topic for analysis or debate. Instead of angels, knife-wielding half-ghosts, or mythical creatures, the modern agents are basically the equivalent of a US Secret Service agent, and they sure do look like it. They are cunning, using brains over brawn, utilizing modern methods of interrogation and espionage to achieve their goals. This is why these agents are so effective. They use their intelligence to the fullest, and even have the ability to infect humans that are connected to the Matrix. So in summary, they are the smartest of all agents, and that makes them more dangerous when compared to the previous versions. We can see how astute modern agents are when instead of immediately relying on violence, their first efforts to get Neo were to interrogate and spy on him. None of this means that this version of the agents can't be ruthless or that they can't hold their ground in a fight. They can be pretty cruel, and they are faster than bullets. So when things get rough, they are able to respond. Agents were also tasked with eliminating exiles and have the ability to communicate with sentinels, as demonstrated by Agent Smith when he ordered the Sentinels to track down the Nebuchadnezzar after Cypher's plan failed. Modern agents are a force to be reckoned with, but they are not without their flaws. Since they function in a world governed by an exact set of laws, anybody who doesn't follow those laws, like Neo, can be able to defeat them. This is why they received upgrades in their code in the sequels, to help them bend the rules of the Matrix and become stronger and faster. Now let's talk about the main villain of the trilogy. Most things in the Matrix, including the agents, are just computer programs. And in the case of Agent Smith, he became more than an agent. He turned into some sort of virus that managed to become self-aware and eliminated his own base programming. He was also able to develop emotions like hate and contempt. So if this happened to Agent Smith, this could mean that the architect is willing to give more freedom to his agents, with the inclusion of choice and free will, be it an illusion or not. This may be something that's already hidden in their code and just needs certain conditions to happen before it becomes active. Which now finally brings us to Matrix 4. The agents of the 6th version of the Matrix couldn't deal with the anomaly. They were even corrupted by it. This means that the architect must now create a new version of the agent program that isn't vulnerable to the integral anomalies code. It is possible that these new agents will look similar to the ones we grew accustomed to, but their code may contain the better parts of all older versions and become a more robust program that can surpass their predecessors. Maybe the architect will create an agent based on Neo's code in order to fix any errors that the previous agents had. Could you imagine an agent that can fight like Seraph, be sturdy like Kane and Abel, have the ability to turn into a ghost like the twins, and be as smart and able to infect other people like Agent Smith? Now that would be an agent worthy of fear. And who knows, that agent could be played by Neil Patrick Harris. But do you agree? How dangerous could the new agent be in Matrix 4? Will this new version be an amalgamation of all previous agents? Will the architect create a 7th version of the agent program in the new simulation? Or does he have a new plan in mind? If you enjoy our content and are a fan of The Mandalorian and Star Wars, please subscribe to our other channel, Mandalorian Universe. There you will find daily news and theory videos about the hit show and of the Star Wars universe. For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe. And thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.